Most beginners jump into day trading with no plan, no system, and no idea what they're doing, and that's why they lose. In this video, I'm going to show you how to day trade the right way, how to build a plan, how to create your watch list, and how to use the JLINES strategy to actually trade with an edge. Hi, I'm Jtrader. I'm a professional trader since 1999 on stock, futures, and also Forex and crypto. I've been mentoring hundreds of traders, and now I have a trading room where I simply day trade every single day live in front of my traders and share exact, simple, and effective strategy. Day trading is not gambling. So before the market even opens, you need a trading plan. You should answer three simple questions. One, what I'm trading today, where do I enter and exit, how much am I risking? Without these rules, you'll trade on emotions, and emotions destroy traders. So the first thing we're going to do today is to teach you how to create a watch list, because without a watch list, you cannot simply know what you're going to trade. Okay. So on trading view over here, you can see on the right corner, I'm clicking on the right list with certain symbols and put add a section. Okay. So right now you can see over here, I add a section. You can drag this all the way down or up, and then we can change it. For example, we'll put like watch list of Monday. And then I need to put inside tickers, being that you're trading Forex, futures, stocks. Okay, I have to select the tickers. After we'll see how to select tickers. But for now, let's say we want to add something like BDRX, which is a small cap. Okay, so we're going to put BDRX. I'm going to put over here a plus, and then you can see that BDRX is going to be in our watch list. I can bring down over here other stocks or other Forex pairs, let's say USD or GBPUSD, or I can use crypto, BTC, and more. So remember that you cannot trade everything. So you have to focus on the best setups. For stock, that means looking for gap pairs with news, volume, or a clean chart pattern. And soon we'll see an example on AMD. For future Forex, focus on key levels and overnight ranges. And we'll see an example on BTC, USD, and also yesterday. The watch list is your roadmap. Remember, it tells you exactly where to look once the bells opens. Now let's talk about the strategy I use, the JLINES. So I've been trading for a long time. And as I said before, since 1999, I had to review everything that I found. I basically backtested all the different setups, strategies that I found in the market. And I discovered the JLINES, which are two exponential moving averages. You can watch also the previous videos on YouTube where I explain how to use them. And I use them effectively every day in the market, being that I swing or day trade. This is a system of dynamic bands that show you where the price is, and it gives you a high percentage of win rate, mostly above 70% for trend following. Here's how it works. So we have, for example, AMD, and you can see over here AMD. The first thing is I want to look at the daily chart. Okay, so my daily chart is on the left side. You can see over here we have the volume. This is a particular volume that we give in our template. So it's called volume pressure. So the gray bars is where we have, I would say, buyers stepping in. When you see gray and red, means that we have over here, in this case, 2/3 of this bar being with buyers, 1/3 of the bar being with sellers. So we still have like the majority of this bar being on the buy side. But then you can see that it turns over here. So this bar is 3/4 of this bar red. So actually you can see that the total volume of this bar was 65 millions, and 50 millions of this bar were actually red. So it was sellers. Okay, so we're talking about 3/4 of this bar. And you can see this bar, for example, that had a peak and fell all the way down. Even the next bar over here had more than 50 million of volume. And we can see that 2/3 of this bar, around 35 million, were sellers. Okay, so you can see also this bar faded. This is the first thing that you have to look at, the volume. The second thing is the daily chart. We use candlesticks, but you can use also, for example, bar charts. We have a band. This band over here is 13 and 20 MA, which you will see that corresponds to an hourly JLINES. So how to find the tickers to trade? Being that we're looking for Forex, futures, crypto stocks, we're looking for a base over here. So we're looking for the price bouncing from this green band. As you can see over here, if we enlarge the chart, we had over here a bounce in June over here, 2025, then another bounce on the 7th of July, another bounce over here from the 27th of July, and another bounce over here the 6th, more over here the 12th. Now, doesn't mean that if the price goes into the green band, you'll simply start trading this long. No, you need a confirmation that it's actually bouncing. So you're looking for lower time frame or intraday time frames. That's the reason why I look when I screen share during the day in the trading room. I look first of all to the daily chart, and then I teach to the traders in my room to trade with the hourly, 15 minutes, 5 minutes, down to the 1 minute. I prefer to use, and I saw the highest win rate. As I said, we're having this year more than 70% win rate, and the room is running since 2017. So we have back tested every single setup that we trade. And the best time frame to use is the 5 minutes. If you're more inclined, instead of day trading, to swing trading, I would stay with 30 minutes to 60 minutes. So as we said, first look for the price to go into this band or into a gap up, as we said before, with news, volume, and catalyst. So we're looking into this day over here. As you can see, the price is in the daily green zone. And then I'm looking for the intraday time frame. As I said, we can use a 15-minute chart. So I will put a 15-minute just to show you. This is a 15-minute chart. We can use a 3 minutes, a 1 minute, but personally, I prefer a 5-minute chart. So if the stock pulls back into the JLINES and holds, that's a potential long setup. As you can see over here, we have 3 JLINES. So we have this first blue, second one, and third one. Okay, so this is the JLINES 1, is above the JLINES 3, is above the JLINES 5. So the trend is actually bullish. You can see, for example, over here, in this moment, this was bearish. So we're going to simply short the market. In this zone over here, we're going to also reverse the position and buy the market. Plus, you also have to look at the color of the bars. The bars over here are all blue, beside this first green over here that gives you the timing. So being the bar all blue, being the JLINES over here all blue, I'm looking to take the long entry. So remember, we have a line over here, system with precise rules. And being that we are on the daily, we look for the bounce play from the 13 and 20 zone. Then we have the open over here, 9:30. So we're talking about New York time. This is the open, and in the first bar, second bar, we want to take the long play. So we're going to simply place our long entry. Our stop loss is going to be below the JLINES 1. So actually over here. And then we're going to look what we're going to look for target, because that's the most important thing. We're going to look for a cross to the downside, as you can see over here, cross to the downside of the JLINES. So that's going to be the last exit. You can see in this case, the stock went for multiple hours return. We had risk 166 and 40. The entry over here was 167.15 to 167.50. So I'm entering while the bar is forming. The reason why I like to use the 1 minute chart is because it gives me the timing of execution. Often I enter before the 5 minute bar is closed. And as I said, every day I screen share this live with execution in the room, so you can see actually me explaining the setup. And we have several hundred of traders entering with us in the trades. So this is an example. You write over here all the JLINES. Once the price over here fails the JLINES, okay, this is the time that I'm considering to get out the majority of the position. Then you can see the price starts to become around lunchtime, 12:30, 1 p.m. red, so you don't take long anymore. And then it starts setting up again for another long play. Another day where we have, you can see the pullback over here back into the 13 and 20 on the daily. Then we start looking what? We start looking into the 5 minutes or 15 minutes. In this case, we have a B setup because as you can see, the JLINES are not all green, are not all blue, sorry. And therefore, I don't want to enter over here. I'm going to wait that the JLINES is starting to become blue so I can enter over here. There's still one JLINES over here that is pink, so I will enter half the position. Again, this is the long play. You simply stay in all the way until over here the cross. And then we're looking for those gap up days where we have a lot of volume. You can see over here at the open, this bar goes for over 6 million. This is a huge bar. And this is what I was saying before. On the daily chart, you see a gap up play. On the 5-minute chart, you can see over here a dip into the JLINES. So what we do, we simply plot our risk below the JLINES. So we're risking over here 50 to 70 cents. We're entering the trade. Generally, we gave a little bit of wiggle room. And then we're going to exit our position once we fill over here the JLINES. Okay, so we're looking for a very tight risk. This is going to be more or less the entry. So we're waiting for a break over here of this level of the pre-market high. We align this with the 1-minute chart. We want to see the high volume coming in. We want to see also the 1-minute bars being all with higher lows. And soon I will put the 1-minute chart so you can see. And then we're simply going to trail until we have the breakdown over here at the JLINES. So now let's pass to the 1-minute chart. So I want to show you how this was on the 1-minute. There we are. So this is the 1-minute. You can see the JLINES. Okay, on our template, the JLINES that was on the 5 becomes the same JLINES on the 1. So it auto, I would say, updates. This is going to be our risk. This is going to be our entry level. So stop loss, entry level. And as we said before, we're going to use this as exit. On a 1-minute chart, we have also better timing because it tells you when the bars start to become red. So you can start taking the first exit over here and the remaining over here when we fill the 1-minute JLINES. Now let's look into crypto, Bitcoin in this case. So first, daily chart. As you can see, the trend is up since end of April. We have several dips into the band over here. Also, this blue, this is really like a great magnet that I've used for position holding. So this is the JLINE 72 and 89. So when the price goes over here, I'm looking for long and bounces. So we can see that the price over here started on the 10th being like a gap up, a dip into the green band. Over here, we had another breakout day, and then over here, we have a gap up. You can see that the price is actually above the previous day range. So let's look now into the 5-minute time frame. So we can see the previous day high, which is this. This is the previous day high. So we're talking about this on the daily. In this bar, this big bar over here, why we're interested in that? Why this will be in our watch list? Because we're looking for those gap up plays. So you can see again over here, market at 9 o'clock, start like bouncing. The bars are still red over here. So I'm waiting. Price over here dips. All the JLINES are over here blue. 1, 2, 3. This is the 9:45. The strong volume comes in. Remember what we said before. We want to see these bars over here mostly completely gray, okay? Because that gray tells me that there's a huge amount of buyers over here. And that is the acceleration in this case, the acceleration of buying pressure. So this is going to be our long into the 120 and 800. And then you can simply trail over here once you start seeing the fail below the JLINES. This is simply the system. You can see over here we fail, so this is not a buy zone. Again, it comes another buy zone. And then the day after, if you're looking to short, for example, Bitcoin, which I don't like to do it personally, but you can see again over here, At 8:30, when once often we have the data, we have the news, in this case with the news on the 14th, we had over here 8:20, 8:25, and then you can see the rejection and failed the that's your short play. And again over here the day after, so we can see again at 9:30 pop into this J lines. You can see over here all this red band, and that's your short play. Now we can look into Forex. So we're going to look when the price in AUSD, for example, dips into a support level. Again, what I said before, start looking for those levels of J lines, like you can see over here. That's a perfect zone. You can see the breakdown and pullback. Okay, so just like we're doing in the shorter time frame, over here you can do in a higher time frame. That's the level where you want to short it. And then again over here. And then once you're looking for a long play, you can look for here. In the last couple of weeks, USD is in contraction. We can see this from this wedge that is forming right now. So that's the wedge. So we have lower highs and higher lows. So the price over here is attached to the 13 and 20. And now we're going to look into the lower time frame. So the day over here, you can see that goes back into the 13 and 20. Over here, we're changing color. And now we're going to look into the price shifting, for example, from red to blue. Second, the J-lines being red and then becoming blue. But also the price breaking, you can see this line over here, this J-line. So you want to long above this level, which is above the 13 and 20 on the daily. Here, 9:30, 9:35, and again over here we can see the big trend break. This is our long play. And again, what we do, we simply place our stop loss below the J lines 1, our entry on the break, and then again we're going to trail the first partial over here on the breakdown of the J lines. Okay, so you're always looking for at least 3 to 4 hour return. This is how it works, for example, in the European session. You can see again, European session that I'm looking over here in Italy. I'm based in Italy. So when the market over here is my 9 a.m., this is 3 o'clock New York time. This is the long play that we have with the J lines. And then over here we have day 2. So you can see that the price fails over here at the J lines. In this case, I wouldn't trade a short. Why? Because we have the major J lines over here. Afternoon is much better. So when we have the data, 8:30, remember the 14, we have the data, 8:30, we have the fail, another pullback. That's a beautiful short. And again, why we'll have this on watch over here? Well, we're day trading. We're looking for positions when we have the news, when we have the data. So we know 8:30 could be PMI, FOMC, or any kind of data consumer. So 8:30 generally, New York time is a time that I'm always looking. For that news, you can look on TradingView, on Forex Factory, and more. Futures. So being that you trade DAX, so I started trading the FTMIB, okay, before it was the FIB in Italy. This was from 2000 till 2005. I was mainly trading that and cover warrants. I traded also DAX and FTSE. So DAX is the German index, is very, very volatile. FTSE, FTSE is the UK index. And those were my primary instruments to trade. But the system worked extremely good with more than 70% win rate on the SNNQ. And we have a lot of traders in the room that are actually trading every single day futures. So we're looking again for the same system. So we're looking for gap up days, or we're looking for those days where we're actually bouncing from the 13 and 20 daily. So let's look, for example, at a couple of days just to show you how the system works over here. So first of all, we have on this day, you can see the price bouncing from this level. Okay, this level is the hourly J lines. So we are over here 840. So we have 840. This is the open level, 930. So right away you can see how the price dips into the J lines, push back up, and that becomes your long. In this case, unless you're scalping, it's going to be a scratch trade, so a stop break even, so the price pushes. It cannot break the pre-market high. It fails back down below the pre-market high to the open level exit. And then we have a secondary entry over here. So you can see the fails below the J lines. And actually you can notice that this color is deep dark blue. Then the template over here, the system, this is actually a full system, becomes over here faded blue. So this is the time that or you're taking profit or you're getting out of the position. And then once it becomes over here deep dark blue, you're actually gonna wait one bar, enter in the next bar, still 10:10 in the morning, so still in the 45 minutes. I like to trade between 9:30 and 10:15, 10:30 the max for my initial entry. And then you can see that rise all the way up. So you start getting over here a price of entry at 64.25 and 2/4. And you can ride over here really until after hours. So at 66 and 1/4. Day after, we have traded that start trading pre-market. So this is a nice gap up day. You can see also on the daily chart, we are above the previous trading range. So when I'm looking also at Italy, okay, 9 o'clock comes Italy. So I'm more aligned into the FIB, FTMIB, okay, into the DAX, but also you can see that ES and NQ, RTY, YM, often they will follow the European markets indexes. And you can see over here on the future, we have a bounce and another long play. Once 9:30 gets there, what we have? We have a gap up play. We have, you can see the dip into the JLINES, right away push back up. So this becomes your long. And then you have like deep dark, deep dark, deep dark. We have first trend line break. And then over here we have faded. So you can start taking your profit. And then once we fail over here, simply exit your position because you're fading now the JLINES. And the market actually start reverse to the downside. Okay, so it's very important to understand when to take long and short, like over here. Okay, this was the long play, then short play, long play. Over here we had on Friday the 15th, you can see over here like big short play from the open. Again, looking at the chart seems beautiful, but again, I won't be trading this only because we are counter the major JLINES. So remember, first of all, traders, that after the trading day is over and you traded, in order to improve, you have to review your trades. Okay, so ask yourself if you follow the plan. Did you respect the JLINES? Did you manage the risk? Day trading is a skill. So the more you track and learn, the better you get. And for me, it's very important that every single setup that we trade, we actually track and back test it. That's how you go from, random trading to professional execution. So in order to recap, day trading comes down to three things. The first one, have a plan, a watch list, and a proven trading strategy like the JLINES. Follow those steps and you stop trading blind and start trading with purpose. In this video, if this helped, hit the like button, subscribe, and set the link in the description for more lessons on day trading with the JLINES. I'll see you in the next one. This is Jay. Thank you.